Hi everybody, I'm Diane Brady. I'm at the Milken Global Conference with William Pak, who is the CEO of Esprit Holdings, which is, are you back in the US? You're about to be back in the US, right?
Yes, so we just opened our new headquarters in New York City 2 months ago in February.
Thank you for coming back to New York. You're one of the few, so.
Thank you. It's actually originally from San Francisco 55 years ago, but it's been away for a couple of decades. And now we're back as a creative mind and brand in New York City, not just to open stores.
So I know the brand from when I was in high school, and it was kind of a preppy brand. Like, why did it leave? What happened?
So about 25 years ago, the company closed a lot of businesses and moved the headquarters to Germany. So over that time, it really became a European brand.
Capital.
Correct, yes. And then they closed all of the stores outside of Europe several years ago. So when we came in to turn around the company, it's now very clear that we should be making it back in the US as an American brand again.
How easy is it when you think about there's such a surplus of brands here. People have a bit of a legacy understanding. Some people have Esprit. Like, what do you see as the biggest opportunities and challenges in reviving here?
I think the biggest opportunity is that it was a preeminent brand in the 80s and 90s, which everyone remembers around the world. So we have this great heritage of sustainability, one of the first companies with organic cotton program 40 years ago. So this is very exciting because it has missed what happened in Europe over the last decade.
So talk about the genesis of this turnaround. What was Esprit like when you found it? Like when you think about the opportunities that you had, was it in the fast fashion space? I think a lot of people aren't even familiar with what the brand had become since it left.
So we came upon Esprit in the middle of 2020, just after the pandemic started. The company was going through insolvency proceedings in Germany. So from there, we were tasked with the job of turning it around. So now, after a year of restructuring, we made it debt-free. It's a very clean company. So from there, we decided to relaunch the brand as a very new, different, elevated quality and design.
So what do you want the brand to represent? If you think about the target customer, who would it be?
So the target customer is actually a very broad spectrum, including the very original fans of the brand, all the way to the more exciting Gen X, Y, and Z across the spectrum. We feel that this brand transcends all generations.
So can you give me a sense of what your strategy is in terms of how you create buzz? Is it just, are you going to be spending a lot on advertising? Are you hiring new designers?
So we made sure that this brand is a New York brand, so we moved the headquarters there. All creative design, brand marketing coming out of there. So we hired Anna Angelic, who's our new chief brand officer as of last year, to work with us to launch the brand together with this new metropolitan outdoor, cool, playful, modern, cool brand.
So I want to ask you, step away from Esprit for a second. I'm fascinated with the fact that your wife is the chairman and you are the CEO. Do you have any advice on managing your chairman when you happen to be married to them?
I think it takes a lot of effort to work together for a common goal, but that's what we had for 20 years. And I think this is actually something different because the synergies we have, we can tackle different problems. She's very creative, but she's also very logical. And this is something very important for a turnaround because you have to have the full support of the capital base all the way through management and down to the retail staff. So this alignment is something you really need for a big turnaround.
Is there qualities that makes for a perfect chairman and a perfect CEO?
I think both have to listen and both have to speak, and that's the key to success in the relationship.
So also the Hong Kong market, a lot of what we've been hearing about with Hong Kong has been very political and politicized. You've been based there. What's the business environment like right now? I know that you're focused in other parts of the world now, but I feel like we haven't really had a chance to hear on the ground how it's going. Are you optimistic?
So the borders suddenly reopened just a few months ago, and since then travel has exponentially increased. It looks like the market is back again. Consumers are free-flowing.
Cathay Pacific's giving away a lot of tickets, I know that.
That's correct. They're giving a lot of tickets, but there's a phenomenal amount of people crossing the borders right now. So I think everything's back to normal.
Is the Chinese consumer taste, like in the retail space, is it quite different than, say, the American taste? Because again, I think there's There was a lot of focus on the Chinese consumer a couple of years ago. I think the pandemic and many other factors have perhaps made us get behind a little bit in our understanding of what they're looking for.
So the Chinese consumer has changed quite a bit over the last 5 or so years. So they've turned to a lot of homegrown brands, but the luxury sector has been increasing phenomenally since they opened recently. But we're taking a different strategy. We're taking New York as the global cultural design base for our company. And then we're also opening in Korea at the same time, because Korea is also a fashion hub in that part of the world.
With all the K-pop and so you're looking for the cultural tastemakers. Is that why you picked New York and Seoul?
Yes, New York, because it is the cultural center of the country, of the world, finance, and all of that circles around here. So to make it very big, you have to come to New York.
How are you fitting in with the zeitgeist around things like sustainability, like homegrown brands? Does Esprit fit into that for you, or do you, when you think about how the brand will change?
So the brand, 1968 from San Francisco, homegrown. It's gone away on a vacation for a couple of decades, but it's back, and we're modernizing it. So we went through 55 years of archives, really to understand what made the brand so popular in the 80s and 90s, and bringing that element to the future. So that's why it's playful, modern, cool as brand pillars.
When you haven't come to the U.S., do you find the business environments like in terms of, policy? Is it as open an environment, as efficient as Germany or Hong Kong?
I would have to say in this particular space, New York is the most efficient and creative market for us compared to everywhere else. So definitely very much a big consideration. We work 730 days a year, because once the other side of the world passes the work off to New York, we're 24 hours working.
Is there anything that you would change if you could wave a wand that would make things easier to get where you want to go here?
I think right now we're at the optimal place to really accelerate. Now that there's free-flowing travel around the world, I know over here it'll open up a little sooner, but the rest of the world just finally caught up.
Great. So can you give us a sense of the taste of what's in a quintessential Esprit outfit going to look like?
So we're coming out with 8 signature products, so something that the customer will understand what they're coming out to look for. So these things are the multi-system parka, the button-down shirt, soft suit, track suit, the famous logo sweater, and a locker bag, and the new denim program we're rolling out this summer.
Great. Well, good luck. Thanks for joining us.